What's going on, homies? It's your boy StumpD back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, it is day 5 of the grandest party of them all, and day 5 is for Gear 5. Yes, we are taking the Beast, the Demon, the Mistake, for Grand Party, into some Grand Party for day 5, utilizing Gear 5 for the final day. Now, I do apologize, these matches are pre-recorded. I do not normally like to do my Grand Party live, but look, a couple days of Grand Party this season, I was just so busy that I just couldn't get time to sit down and actually record on camera, and I had to do them when I was out and about. And as you guys know, with Grand Party, you don't have that luxury of sort of having the time on your side. So I did find a Red Rock Luffy as my very first fight. So we are going to be utilizing our Gear 5 build. Now, I did lose a fight yesterday. Well, not yesterday, but the day before this, due to an absolute huge blunder. And look, that's 2 seasons in a row that I've lost due to a blunder. So that kind of annoys me a lot. Mainly because I know I should have got 15 wins. That was the big thing. And I really wanted to show you guys Big Mom, and I fucked it up, to be honest. But Gear 5, he's an absolute beast. And most people are just running Gear 5 through the entire fight. And look, understandably so. His burst is so damn strong. He's a complete counter to Roger. He's overwritten Roger in the meta. About time, to be honest. And look, it is really nice to see that Gear 5 is absolutely dominating the meta for something, because there is a lot of controversy around this character as like the best unit of the game. But when it comes to Grand Party and PvP, there's no doubt that he's the best Grand Party leader, and if not one of the best PvP units. So the first fight, like I said, we found a Red Rock Luffy fight. Red Rock Luffy's a bit of an interesting one. Nothing too crazy when it comes to Red Rock, and the way that I like to run my Gear 5 teams is run Sai first, and then you can just bink out a burst very easily thanks to having Yamato and Odin, and all of this fixed damage with Kuzen and Gear 5 themselves. As you guys saw there, as soon as I got the burst, I activated it. The idea of that is to guarantee ourselves the win. Not only that, but also take out a bunch of enemies to reduce the chance of the enemy getting their burst. Now, we found Red Rock Luffy. Red Rock Luffy's nothing like insane at versing. However, when it comes to versing other Gear 5s, when it comes to versing stuff like Roger Whitebeards and all those other characters that need to do damage to get their burst up, just being able to take out the enemy works really, really nicely. Plus, as you can see here, I pretty much got my burst back ready for the next fight, which means that we're going to be in a really good stead to actually take down whatever's coming in the very next fight. Now, in the next fight, I did see that Red Rock Luffy was in the lineup, which basically told me that, hey, like, Red Rock Luffy being there means that it's going to be a quick team, and that way I can use my Dex team. Now, I didn't bring, like, an anti-quick team by all means, but with the new Big Mom, she's an absolute beast in Grand Party, as well as PvP, and she just basically gave me the cheat code to win. Plus, Blackbeard's on my team. He's just an absolute killer when it comes to versing quick. Dofi's buffing both Driven and Dex units, and basically the way that my Dex team operates when using Gear 5 is once Blackbeard goes and the HP cut goes off, you can just pop the Gear 5 burst, and then you're just gonna win. Like, it's just free from that point, because once you do like a 30% HP cut and then 2,500 fixed damage, if you're versing either quick or strength, it's literally just curtains. All your other specials are going to come in, you're going to just wipe house, and you're just going to be in a really, really good spot to actually wipe out the second fight. Doflamingo actually gets me my burst, but like I said, I really wanted to wait until Blackbeard went. Obviously, versing quick is a huge luxury, and we didn't know that because Red Rock Luffy was in that spot. So it put us in a really, really good place to actually take out this fight without any issues whatsoever. So Super Tandem Luffy coming in, doing a little bit of damage here. Big Mom does absolute bits. Massive halve stats to the entire crew, which was disgusting. Would have loved to have her go off after. But now that Blackbeard has gone, we are just going to wait for some enemies to actually come in as well. That was my plan, because Pell's just going to take out a few characters here. And then once all of the new lineup comes in from the bench, we can bink the burst. There we go. And basically, Luffy's damage is going to ride us home. We got very lucky with Big Mom just like hitting everyone and putting us in a really good spot without needing the burst. But like, I could probably just skip this by now. Like, we all know that what's going to happen here, Stump. You can fast forward this one, son. I wonder if just normal attacks take you out. Yeah, okay, there's the skip. Beautiful. Alright, you love to see it. So that was the very first fight against Red Rock Luffy. Red Rock Luffy, honestly, if you see Red Rock Luffy like take the dub, like, the dude's not great, to be honest, in Grand Party. 241 combat power, that was pretty big. Let's go to the next fight. Alright, so as you can see, Gear 5s are everywhere. I did decide to take on this particular Gear 5, though, because they put their Gear 5 on the bench. Now, if a Gear 5 is on the bench, you can pretty much guarantee that it's not going to be a Sai team, which is just awesome in my eyes. So as you can see right there, Gear 5 is sitting right at the back, which means that we're going to put our Dex team up against it and just hope that it's something that's not strength, really. The first team was as a Dex team, and utilizing our side team is just a surefire win. Without Big Mom on a team, I'm not scared of a Dex team. Dex teams have gotten a lot scarier though, so just be careful when you are versing Dex, especially if Big Mom's on the squad. But once again, we're basically just gonna run the same strat, use our side team, and then basically have our Dex team just finish off that second fight. The third team I had for my Gear 5 build was actually Free Spirit, but another really good team that works exceptionally well is Strikers. Strikers are a phenomenal team because they have stuff like Whitebeard, they have stuff like Jack, Roger Whitebeard, and then fixed damage with like Kuzan, or Kuzan's on side, but like Tesoro, Kanjuro to just build up Gear 5's burst, and it all works out super nicely. I just wanted to turn off my Bluetooth because I was actually in the car recording this, and it just connected to my car, so apologies about that. But Dex is still very, very tanky, and this season they were very good, obviously being buffed. This season kind of revolved around Big Mom. They wanted you to really use Big Mom. Driven, Powerhouse, Dex characters all got buffs. And then obviously Slashes got nerfed if you had your leader in the lineup. So that was a little bit annoying. But if you verse Slashes with your opposition leader, you are going to nerf them that way. So as you can see, Yamato gets you very, very close to actually building up a burst. Especially if she half stats the 2 units that she hits. You're basically going to get the burst just with Yamato. Plus, if Yamato hits and does like 11k, but the enemy only has 1000 HP, it literally just, it carries into the burst as well. Odin's about to go, so I really want to use my burst now, so that way Luffy basically just kills everyone. And ideally, Odin will go with the enemies coming in. He didn't, unfortunately, which kind of sucks. So he's only hitting Doflamingo. Ideally, I wanted him to hit everyone that comes in on the bench. That way, we're just getting more damage output. But at this point, we just really want to build up our burst again. And as you can see, we're doing so much damage. Just like with normal attacks, we're hitting so freaking hard, like so hard. Unfortunately, Rebecca Toy Soldier didn't actually hit that special, but as you can see, we've pretty much got our burst back. Gear 5 hits so goddamn hard with his special and his burst that you can just use bursts to carry yourself through wins, which is just absolutely wild if you build out that first team correctly to guarantee your burst build up. And again, that's why Strikers work so well, that's why Sai works so well, and it all just falls into place nicely. The second fight was actually a quick team, which again, just worked absolutely beautifully for us because we had our Dex team up against that. Again, we're not running an anti-quick Dex team, but just naturally, like, quick just struggles so hard against Dex. Even if it's not a tailor-made team to take down, they just don't do damage, unfortunately, quick to Dex, unless you're running all of those HP cutters and fixed damage dealers like Kanjuros and Akainu, Shiki, all that sort of stuff. But even still, with this new, like, Big Mom meta and Doflamingo in the front getting, like, butt tons of buffs and buffing your squad, man, it's hard to take down this, like, driven-centric Dex team, especially while the rule set favors them so heavily. Like, we just did so much damage with Big Mom special there. Like, so much damage. I decided to use the burst because I knew it would basically wipe out majority of the enemy, and then I could use Blackbeard and his fixed damage to wipe out the other 2, hoping that the other 3 would come in. At this particular point, like, it's just curtains. Like, Gear 5's not buffing the other 2 units. The other 2 units were just, like, Shiryu and Whitebeard. I think Super Tenor Luffy just claps everything here. Yeah, it basically just beats everything. And now it's just poor old Gear 5 versus the world. Pell takes him out, and it's just an easy dub from there. So, an easy Gear 5 fight. You love to see that. Let's move on to the final fight now, showcasing Gear 5 Luffy. The final fight, I went up against a Roger and Whitebeard build. It was a Skypiea Donnie. Skypiea obviously renowned for having very high-end players, so might not have been my smartest move, but the other 2 fights were both Gear 5s, and I thought I would try my luck against Roger Whitebeard rather than something like Gear 5. So I had a look at the teams. I did see Roger Whitebeard in the middle, so I decided to put my Free Spirit squad there because I thought that was probably the sacrificial team. The first fight was a Dex Big Mom fight, so I was a little bit scared at this particular point. Donjin Jiao in the front too. Absolute torture. Whoever uses Donjin Jiao in the front, you need to check yourself. Take yourself to a mirror, look yourself in the eye, and tell yourself that you're better than that, because you should not be using Donjin Jiao in the front. It's just absolute. It's toxic behavior. It's toxic behavior. No one's there for it. It's just not. It's not ideal. So, Big Mom is absolutely terrifying. Roger Whitebeard, I believe, they build up their burst when they take damage, so not ideal for us. with Gear 5, and his burst doing so much damage. So Roger Whitebeard's one I would look out for if you are running Gear 5s. Be very careful if you are using Gear 5 against Roger Whitebeard, because Roger Whitebeard's burst is still nothing to scoff at. And you guys will see that in the third fight, how powerful it actually is. I probably could have got the win earlier in the fights. However, I sort of just played it safe and managed to sort of like clutch it out. But we'll talk about that once we get to the second fight, because I think if I used the burst, I probably would have won. We did take the half stats from Big Mom. Yamato half stat only 2 units here, but does manage to get the knockout of Super Tandem Luffy, which is great. Odin should give us our burst. He should clock it over. Unfortunately, we will take the Moria special, which is a little bit of a problem because Moria does a lot of damage. But Odin should clock us over here. Only hits Big Mom and Moria. The burst should do bits, though. We should do absolute big numbers here. Taking out Big Mom was the play there. Definitely a very good burst. And now Kuzan with his 4k fixed damage is going to help us build that burst up once again. Kuzan on the side team when you are using Gear 5 works so well. Purely for this particular reason of hitting everyone for 4k, meaning that you're guaranteed to build up like a quarter of your burst, which is awesome. Rebecca Toy Soldier, they're going to hit fairly hard too. Taking out Dofi means we guarantee the win. And I do believe the enemy pops the burst off here. Yeah, they pop their burst off, which is really big for us. Because they've basically lost at this point. Like, there's no way of them recovering. Plus, that puts us in a really good spot to actually build up our burst again. Doing 10k with Gear 5 Luffy, just normal attacks, is absolutely absurd. Like, absolutely absurd. The second fight is against a weird striker build. I was literally interested to see this one because it was like a striker build, but it had Boa on the team. Boa's very annoying because Boa can just sort of like confuse your way into oblivion. Normally you'll see the trio of the waifus from the anniversary, the very first anniversary exclusive, but for this fight we actually saw Boa. Now what I plan to do here is actually hang on to my burst because I didn't want to use my burst and then have the opposition use theirs. However, in hindsight, it was probably more beneficial for me to actually do that. The reason being is because Roger Whitebeard, if the last fight was either a Psy or an Int fight, which it actually was, utilizing their burst there is a lot more detrimental to us, like a much more detrimental. And the idea would be to try and take out Roger and Whitebeard before they use their special. The idea was that I didn't think I did enough damage against Roger Whitebeard, so I thought they were going to pop their special off anyway. So I basically just left it and said, hey, let's see how far we get here, and we'll just sort of go from there. See how Roger Whitebeard, they sort of like, they're not at that halfway mark. I wasn't in a real confident mode to actually like utilize the burst. We did get hit by the confusion on, I believe, Lauren Kidd. So they lost their special. And Luffy Yamato went around the 60-second mark. So we're just in a really bad spot here. However, if we used our burst right here, I do think that we probably could have wiped their entire squad and then utilized the Zoro counters to put ourselves back in a really good spot. However, the enemy already did take out Zoro once, so he doesn't have his revive, which is a little bit annoying. And Kid would have definitely died if I'd used that burst. So I wouldn't have lost those units there, and I would have been in a really good spot, and then the enemy would have used their burst, which would have been a HP cut, and I would have been just absolutely hunky-dory. However, now I'm going into the final fight, risking a burst versus burst situation with my Dex team. Now, I was pretty confident in my Dex team to actually get the win, but Dex is still very finicky when you are versing a Roger Whitebeard burst, and the reason that is because Roger Whitebeard will do 40% HP cut. And on top of that, Roger Whitebeard also give level 10 stats to Int and Psy. Now, we did come up against an Int team. It was more of an Int-driven sort of team with Fuji. Then you've got, like, the Giants and Smoker on the bench. Very good Int-driven team. And Roger Whitebeard getting that burst right there means they're going to pop it off straight away. Level 10 speed, defense, attack, all those stats going straight to the Int characters. As you guys saw there, Kid had, like, 27 defense. At this particular point, it's incredibly hard to penetrate that. 32 attack, they're sitting at 35 HP. They're a real chonky team. Plus, Int and, I believe, Powerhouse and Driven are both boosted this season. So, look, this was a real tough one. Real tough one. So my plan here was to let Blackbeard go. Let Blackbeard get his HP cut off, and then use the burst and just see what happens. See how much damage out we do. We managed to take out Fuji, and everyone else got so close to dying. Lucky for us, we had a Doflamingo special to wrap it up, and we actually got the win here, which was absolutely wild to see. That Roger Whitebeard burst was actually really terrifying. Like, it was a really bad situation. Big Mom only took out 1 unit there, so I was stressing real hard here because the Giants hadn't used their specials. We're getting hit by high stats. However, my bench was in a really good spot. Plus, we took a bunch of special binding. You had Smoker special binding, Dory special binding, a whole bunch of very annoying stuff. But lucky for us, like, we had enough tank, we had enough bulk, we had enough backup on the bench to just allow us to get the win, even though we did take 3 very scary specials. Luffy still had his revive, and we were just in a really good spot. Lucky for us, Gear 5's burst is so goddamn broken, and then the rule set favoring Dex and favoring Driven Powerhouse meant that we were just in a much better position than our opponent, even with that Roger Whitebeard burst. But like I said, be very careful of Roger Whitebeard if you're using Gear 5. Like, look at all this special one. Like, I'm just like not being able to use my specials, which is so annoying. Lucky for us, though, Doflamingo didn't get special binded. So, the one character you probably wanted to, that and Big Mom. But, other than that, we had managed to get the chocolates. But, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to go down there, belt the like button, hit the subscribe button. Do all that good stuff for me. Let me know in the comment section below how many wins you guys got this particular season. 14 squad, rise up. Look, if you get over 12, just be happy. Like, this game mode isn't as bad as everyone says. And just be happy with your free rewards. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Later!